Every in space. Meeting.
So.
Back to the beginning, some surprise, some still here. We'll get a pizza. I'm able to take off crack. Chuck is now he's a meeting in the furnace time of year.
Yeah. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Will you take those from the start?
Mrs. Leskowitz.
Here.
Mrs. Butler.
Here.
Mrs. Donahue.
Here.
Mrs. Kiplinger.
Here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I motion to approve the agenda. I'll second.
And then I'd like to remove 5 Alpha Charlie Nickel. Say that again, please.
Alpha, Charlie,
Okay.
go.
In paragraph 5, A, C.
We're getting better. Like that, how I see about right on.
And C, Charlie.
Yeah.
C and E.
A, C, and E.
A, C, and E. Yes, yes. Mhm. Is there any more discussion? Anybody have? Right, we can have these?
Mrs. Leskowitz.
Yes.
Mrs. Butler.
Yes.
Mrs. Donahue.
Yes.
Mrs. Kiplinger.
Yes. Now can I get a motion to approve the minutes for the work session and regular meeting?
I'll move.
Go for it.
I'll move. I'll second.
Discussion? Anyone have any discussion? Right, we take vote, please.
Mrs. Leskowitz.
Yes.
Mrs. Butler.
Yes.
Mrs. Donahue.
Yes.
Mrs. Kiplinger.
Yes.
Sorry. I don't want that to start again.
No, right? Is it, I don't think there's any public participation.
I don't have it.
Okay, we don't have any public participation, so now we can roll into the superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. Superintendent's report, one, couple dates, one that didn't make the report dates. We got the booth or treat, which is October 26th from 2 to 4 at the elementary school. So, put that on your calendar. It's pretty fun event for the kids. October 31st is Halloween for the township, 6 to 8. And also we are starting to work on the school calendar, for next year. We're looking at a 2-year calendar. We're looking at 2-year calendar, and we're also looking at some deliberate and meaningful thought process when it comes to the time of day, length of day. There's lots of things to coordinate. Fair to athletics to transportation schedules, coordinate with other districts. So we've started that process. I did another conversation with OSBA, and I know we talked about some topics and we talked about some things. So I think what I'll do is I'll put together sort of an a la carte, just an overview general board session with OSBA, and I'll just read dates. Are there any questions from last week with the presentation from John? I know we've got the scenarios. I didn't know if you had any questions. I mean, he's not here to answer all, but I didn't know if there was something that stuck out in your mind or understood. And then to piggyback onto that, like the educational planners that were here that presented to you all, yeah, they've if we will still move forward with some of their thoughts and ideas, move forward, spoken with them as well. So. Natalie?
I just was gonna ask, are we going to consider any of the options? I don't know if that's the kind of question you wanted
Yeah, I mean,
tonight or.
It's, I mean, that's the feedback, right? I mean, I just didn't know, I mean, we consider anything you want, I just, the options were laid out, and I just, we can look at a few of those to see if there's any possibility, right? I mean, but some of those things have some, if one or two things happen, it's pretty much a non-negotiable, right?
Right,
So,
right.
I mean, we can look at it, but at the same time, not delay what we need to delay and still start to.
Well, none of those options, create a moratorium on. the Bill.
No.
So,
No, they don't. There's 5 options there. I mean, 4 of them aren't great.
yeah.
I mean, they all have some type of negative impact. And,
And
So-
time and cost,
right, correct.
so.
But I mean, we wanted to put all the scenarios out there.
Yeah, and until I think, his recommendation was that, maybe one of them was slightly, I want to say, the best of the worst, if you will, and potentially that would be maybe the only one that we could pursue. And I know I'd like us to consider at least looking at that, because this is our one and only chance. If we don't do it now and run it to ground, then we don't get a go back on it. And I don't know, that's just my opinion. That might be worth it to run that all the way down. The one recommendation that he didn't really recommend, but it was just his guidance, his
The
guidance.
best of the worst.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That's what I want to talk about. I mean, I can do that. I can take the best of the worst and run it down the hole and see what happens.
Yeah.
At the same time, still.
Right,
coordinate together.
continue,
I don't
right.
want to waste the time.
No,
Right,
That makes
yeah,
sense.
do it,
they can be done.
Simultaneously, we can go down
Yeah.
the same track. Simultaneously, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't want to, yeah. I appreciate that. I do want to just see us run that down.
Okay. No, that's why I wanted to bring it up, to give you time to think about it. And give you a week to go over the options. So, and then the other thing that I wanted to bring up to the board, so I've had some discussions with my wife and some other things, and I've talked to people in the community and some of my administrators and whatnot. If I just want to let the board know, I know we talked about putting this up to what happens with superintendent down the road, but I would love and be willing to stay another 2-3 years if you want. So think about it. If you want me to stay, I will. Mull it around, think what you want, but I just want to let you know that I've enjoyed my time here, and I like the people and I like the kids. I've worked with you all. Man. So, no, we've done some good things, and I think it's an exciting time. So I mean, I can stay. I would stay another 2-3 years, and then I'm probably gonna hang my head. But I got some other thing. I'm enjoying myself, and I just want to let you know that. So
I think it's a
Food
great
for
idea.
thought.
Yes,
Thank
you.
For sure.
Thank you.
welcome. Right. Let's go to student recognition. All right, so golf. Gentlemen, how you doing? Thanks for coming.
Unfortunately, 3 of them are also on soccer teams, they're playing the tournament game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that, so it's good. Yeah, it's good. So the few things I'm gonna recognize the others that aren't here and what they got. Then I want to go over some of the things that you racked up this year. So, which I think is, see, I don't golf, so I think all this is always impressive. So, but yeah. So the golf team. So Josh Fiery, first team all conference. Mike Howling, second team all conference, medalist at league tournament. Logan Norris, second team all conference. Gabe Veldman, second team all conference. Bill Dix, honorable mention all conference. And Coach Ed Quinzel, conference coach of the year. So congratulations. Program record, team score for 18 holes with the 314, TRC regular season undefeated champions, TRC tournament champions, sectional runner-up, and district qualifiers. So pretty impressive. So I want to congratulate you. Good season. And I've got some certificates for you. Come on up, and we're gonna get your picture taken. There you go. Don't go anywhere. Mike, it's a great first name. And Coach. Picture taken with these guys. Good. Appreciate it. All right, if you don't mind if I say something real fast? No, by all means, no, they just grab the stuff, I just say, you don't have to leave yet, you say no, you walk, you don't have to stay.
No, I just want to recognize how much time and effort these guys put in. I'm trying to hear the same speech tomorrow night, but you know, they're the leaders by example. And the way you get better, something is you're always doing. And these two guys exemplify that and are great credit.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Just got practice. You play winter sports? Okay, cool. Well, great, congrats, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Guys.
Good job, coach.
I guess he had to retire.
Yeah.
All right, next presentation, Jacob Watson.
Hi, thanks for having me here this evening. I'm gonna kind of give you some insight into our new club that we started, our new AV club called Hive Media. So I guess the first question would kind of be, why do we need Hive Media? So we're in an age filled with, I guess you can scroll down, I think one. Yep, so we're in an age of television, movies, the internet, social media, and all of these are kind of like, there's so many job opportunities for each area. Whether or not you're making short form content for social media or you're going into television production, someone has to write that, someone has to, storyboard it, someone has to film it, and filming it means lighting it, means getting the sound going for it, and then someone has to edit it all together, add any special effects, and then put it all out on screen, and then, get it out and distribute it. So I wanted to give our students the opportunity to get hands-on experience in photography, videography, video editing, graphic design, and all of these are skills that, even if they don't go on to do this as a job, who knows, maybe they'll start taking pictures of their brother or cousin or sister's soccer games or whatever in their free time. They might want to just make short form videos just for fun. You never really know, but it could be a career path. Since I was in high school, kind of knew that I wanted to do some sort of video editing or something, and that's why I went to school at UD to do it. But I never would have guessed that the small thing of me starting taking pictures of the marching band would end up resulting in me getting this job. Because when I applied for this job, obviously I had all the qualifications I needed to be able to do all the communication stuff with my degree in communications, but I mean, the added benefit of me being able to show up and take pictures of all of our athletic events and get pictures for your book, that was huge. But at the same time, I kind of questioned, why is our school not already doing it? Why are our students not doing that? Because Bethel had grown quite a bit by the time I got back here. And while, our middle school at the time was doing video announcements and, we now have a photography club and Mr. Brewer has a multimedia club, like there's not a whole lot of media production happening in high school here. There's the occasional project for class. I know Mrs. Brewer offers her students to be able to do videos for like presentations rather than doing a poster. They kind of get the option for certain stories. Mr. Hamlin, when he was here, he had his infamous pre-calc and calculus videos that every student was doing. But outside of that, there just wasn't much. So I, since I got here, I wanted to start it, and thankfully, Mr. Nutter's been very great about helping us get this started. So my goals for this club are to kind of focus on 5 things, and and it kind of depends on what the students are more into. I'm not gonna, at the end of the day, I can't force them to do anything, right? So it's about finding what interests them and getting them involved in that, and finding what part of this is the thing they want to focus on. So videography is one of them. This is where they can create videos showing off the different school events and activities that are happening here, whether or not that's athletic or music. If it's a classroom activity, they can, borrow a camera, they can go film it. And then they can edit it and we can post it on our social media accounts. Photography, they can take pictures of the school events, get those for yearbook. They can use those for the videos they're making. They can make a portfolio if they want. It kind of gives them some freedom. Live streaming, we live stream events across the district, including our concerts. We do like senior signing day, events like that. And, it'd be really cool to show these kids kind of how we film those, how we broadcast them, the different software we use, the running the audio levels on it. And if we have a larger crew, we can kind of start expanding what we're doing with live streaming. We can mess around with multi-cam like we do for graduation. So that way it's not just one static camera shot, which I think would be nice. We also are going to do some audio recording, like podcasting, or our soundboard also gives us the ability to do music as well if we wanted. We can record a instrument going into it. And then graphic design. A big part of modern day videos and social media is about the graphic design of it, finding a brand and kind of sticking to it, using different softwares to be able to create things like lower thirds and end slates and even logos, and where to place those in videos or where to use them to advertise other things. So then to get us started, we got some equipment, and thanks to Tina for helping us find a grant to help pay for quite a bit of this. We had a grant that was focused on getting kids that aren't currently involved in extracurriculars involved in extracurriculars. And we thought that Hive Media kind of fit that in two different ways. One, by creating a new extracurricular that maybe some kids weren't in anything because the only thing they wanted to do was media production and we didn't have anything. But also by showing all the activities happening in school. It's way more likely the kid will see the potential fun of being on the basketball team or being in the music program. And that grant helped pay for quite a bit of this. And then the little bit extra we needed was covered, thankfully, by Mr. Nutter and Tina finding some extra funds for us. So our equipment includes, we got two Canon EOS R100 mirrorless cameras. So these are kind of beginner level mirrorless. What used to be a DSLR is now a mirrorless, so it doesn't have all the mirrors in the camera. They're a bit smaller, a bit lighter, better picture quality than the other ones we're getting. And we went with Canon because Canon as a brand kind of finds a good mix between photography and videography. We got a DJI mic too, which is a little portable mic that you can use that you just attach to the camera, and it can attach to a cell phone at the same time. And you can wear it as a lapel, you can hold it in your hand. Rodecaster Pro 2, that's our podcasting equipment. We also got 4 microphones for that. So we can record up to 4 people at a time doing audio. 2 Legion series laptops, which are some pretty bulky laptops that will be good for video editing. And then a lighting set and a portable blue screen. So if we need to use a background, we can also blue screen, and normally it's a green screen, but since our school colors are green, I figured it's more likely kids are going to be wearing green as a color. So next up is video creation. That's kind of, I think our first focus this year was about getting a video created. I'm sure some of you saw our homecoming recap that we posted last week. I was really kind of blown away with how much the kids were able to do. And I picked up a bit of the slack on stuff they don't know, so that way they can start learning that. And by the end of the year, hopefully they'll be able to turn out something like that entirely by themselves. But I was impressed by how much they did. And I wanted to give a shout out to Julian Blair, Christian Bennett, and Haley Boxentia, Janae Mortes, and Kelsey Dallas for the hard work on that. They were all seen as the talent in the video. And then Kelsey also helped me when we were editing. She helped decide what takes we were going to use, where we wanted to cut things, what photos we wanted to add in. It was a great help. And then I just kind of helped finish it together and throw on the lower thirds. So that way, they didn't have to stay too late. I could just wait for it to export. Next up, we have our photography. So we already have students that have been out at athletic events taking pictures. As the one in the presentation was taken by Julian Blair at one of the boys' soccer games. Plus, the kids already. The kids are really loving the photography aspect. Every single kid that's been to a game has come up to me after and said, "This is so much fun. I see why you do this." And, you know, I told them, be careful. Photography is an expensive hobby, unfortunately. But it is very addicting in that way. If you, once you start taking pictures, you just, I don't know, I don't know if it helps you see the world in a new way of, you start looking around, like, this is a great moment. Live streaming, I want to show them our live streaming setup up in the booth, but then also we can kind of take it on the road. Show them how we mix, how we operate the cameras. I kind of spoke on that a bit already. And then we have audio recording, which we started messing with a bit during one of our sessions, but they're very excited to do a podcasting series. They really want to do a teacher interview series, which I think will be a nice way to use some of that equipment. And kind of we can get those recorded and kind of release them regularly. That photo was taken by Tyson Daniels at one of our meetings. So I want to kind of shout out. I want to shout out all the pictures that they've taken because I'm really amazed by them so far. Graphic design, we've already done a bit of that in our logo. So Kelsey Dallas and Haley Oxentia actually designed that logo. And I was so impressed by it because it's really top notch as far as logos go. And I'm excited to show them some more ways to use Canva, which is what we use for like a lot of like school graphics, but also we have the full creative suite so they can get into Illustrator and Photoshop and Photoshop. Which is really exciting. So some additional benefits of having this club, or I guess some fringe benefits are almost that by having all this equipment and having students on hand that know how to use it, and over time teaching some of our staff how to use it, we can use this for other things around the district. So already, Mr. Denlinger came to me a couple weeks ago and asked if he could use it to record the short stories for one of his classes because they record them every year, but they normally do it on their Chromebooks and the audio quality can be kind of iffy on it. So, you know, we spent a few days out of the week, his class would come into my office and we would just kind of record it, you know, a few students at a time. And he said that it was awesome. That's way better than it normally is. And I could see stuff like that happening a bit more frequently where we can kind of get some more use out of this equipment through other things. Like I said earlier, the podcasting equipment does have the ability to have an input of music, like a instrument line, but that means we can also use it like when our music students record auditions for like all-state choir or an all-state band and stuff like that, we can be recording those with that. And then I also was thinking teachers could use this to record presentations or specific demonstrations they do in class. That way, like if a student wants to refer it back to it later, there's already a recording of it, they can just upload it to the Google Classroom, which that would be nice. So moving on to that's kind of why we want to do this. Now we're kind of moving to what we've done so far. So like I said earlier, we have that dedicated logo that we've made, which we're going to use as our kind of standard for Hive Media. We're going to include it in most of our content. We have released our fully edited homecoming video. We also have had students attend football, soccer, and volleyball games so far in the fall to capture those moments. And we have also had some student section involvement in one of our Instagram reels. We're working on making some more of those, but you know, in the day and age of TikTok, I understand kids want to do TikTok and all that stuff. And there are some trends that could very much be fun and lighthearted that, you know, there's no reason why we can't do a little fun chapel run bit, or we can't do, you know, a speed tour, stuff like that. The really harmless fun stuff that, you know, we can meet the kids where their minds already are and show them the fun way to do it without it being anything too crazy. So some stuff that we have coming up. These are some ideas that the students have already had or that we've kind of started the process of creating. We did our homecoming recap, but we're going to do more throughout the year. Like I said, our teacher interview podcast series. So 2 different groups of students have already said they want to do cooking shows, which could be really fun. I think that taking the camera home and recording them doing a recipe would be amazing. With the seniors want to do spotlight interviews. In the past, we've done our senior spotlight series kind of in the spring, but you know, if we can get some kids out here getting interviewed, I think that might be a bit more fun, more varied. The middle school musicals coming up, I think it's about a month away at this point. So getting some extra promotion out about that, maybe get a trailer put together for it would be really nice. And then some Halloween content. They wanted to do a costume showcase on the actual day of Halloween. We usually let our kids dress up. And then we have Spooktoberfest. They were talking about potentially doing like a video of the haunted trail that they had planned to do that night, which would be really fun. You know, kind of made me think of back when the Jaggers, they would do the haunted house with the guy that would always get really scared. I was like, that could be very fun if they want to do something like that. I think Halloween is a great place for them to do some really fun. So tomorrow, actually, we have a field trip planned for both this club and then Mrs. Brewer's multimedia class is going. We're going to go down to the Roger Glass Center, which opened last spring. It's a brand new performing arts center, but as a part of that, they have both a new Flyer TV studio and a new Flyer radio studio. And this way we can kind of show kids, it's like, while we have the beginnings of a club here, it'll show them kind of what a professional grade studio would be like, and the green screening and like all the equipment that you would have and the quality of it. I just think it would be, it's shows them, I think, a bit further out they could expect if they wanted to kind of go down this path. They seem very excited. And then kind of finally, I wanted to talk about the potential of Hive Media. So humble beginnings, we love all that, but I do see that, like, I could see the need for something like this in our district. You know, I think that the value in a club like this to be able to highlight not only the students' ability to do some of this, but just the things happening in the district. We're so lucky to be in a district where we have a thriving athletics program, music program that does so many different activities a year. Our prom committee is constantly doing fun little activities for stuff. Our elementary is constantly doing fun activities. And I think showing these through videos or podcasts can be very beneficial. So as this club grows, I would like to see like a few things kind of happen, and you know, this kind of leads towards just a more stable environment. I think that if it succeeds, we'll have more student involvement, we'll have more kids in the club, and the more hands you have in a club, the easier it is to have consistency in what content's being made. It's less work for one person, it's more work spread across a few. I think normal clubs usually have a like officers kind of thing. I don't think that works as well in a club like this because you can't have a single person in charge. I would see more managers kind of thing. So you'd have a student that's more in charge, like that thinks more of the short form content, like the Instagram Reels. You'd have a student who's more the idea of like, this is more of our audio expert, this is more of our video expert, and have those kind of managers. So that way, like I can go to the student and be like, hey, do you have any updates on what's going on with the Instagram Reels? And then they can kind of work with other students. The students can know that they're really the go-to person, and then I can kind of help oversee that, but they're not, you know, it's not all being funneled through just me, and they can, you know, there can be a bit more student involvement in the decisions being made. So this and then I think having a more regular upload schedule would come out of that, and we would be able to see consistency in like videos every week, social posts every week. The more students you have, the easier it is to get all the work done. And then, like, eventually, if this is successful enough, I would see the club stops being a club, and you guys would have to eventually hire some sort of teacher to do an actual program full time. Because this could be a bunch of different classes. You could have an audio production class, you could have a video production class. It's the future. And being able to teach kids the more, like, that's honestly more responsible, but like the more career driven ways to use this technology, I think is super valuable in the modern day. It will never hurt your job opportunity to know how to work specific pieces of technology. It's always like, oh wait, you know how to run a soundboard? We have a soundboard that we never get to use because the guy that bought it left, you know? So I didn't put it in here, but in case you guys wanted to follow us on any of our socials, we have an Instagram, which is at Bethel Hive Media, all lowercase. And then we have a dedicated YouTube channel that is the same at. The name of it is BHS Hive Media, but if you look at that same ad on YouTube, it'll pop up for you. But unless you guys have any questions, I'll answer what I can, but I hopefully covered most of it.
Great. Yeah, thank you for doing this. This is
Yeah, I think-
fantastic.
Yeah, I know Jason and Jacob, Tina, they found the grants and the ordering and all the equipment. And Jake and I were talking, it was like, it's a really great idea, and the kids were super excited. Then you got more people that came than you originally had thought.
Yeah, I mean, my goal was I was hoping for 5 kids to show up, and currently I think I have 13 in the Google Classroom for this.
That's great.
Yeah, a lot of towns.
So
Yeah, it's a good spread too. I've got, like, I guess Julian and Christian are the football players, and a basketball player, I've got band kids, that's, it's a newspaper, it's a spread. You know, of kids in all different activities. It's good to see that, and it's good for the kids when the kids here watch a video, they go, oh, no, that kid, it's like, it makes them feel like they're part of it too.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Like I said, I'm obviously not gonna teach any podcasting class in my career, but I think it's a great idea. Like I was telling Jacob, I got a 22, my youngest daughter is 22, works for a podcast. And does very well. I mean, and so, I mean, I don't understand a lot of it, but I mean, there's a lot of time and effort to do, but she learned some of that in school, high school. You know, so. Thank you.
I would have wished I had this club when I was here.
Can the kids join anytime?
Yeah, I will never turn a kid away that wants to join, at any point of the year. There's no harm joining at any point. We'll find, as long as they want to show up and do something, I will help them.
I'm gonna do a video someday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a video. I did an interview in the newspaper. I'm gonna do a video.
We do video and everything.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jacob.
Awesome,
Thanks,
thank
Jake.
you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good luck.
And thanks for this morning.
Super. Jacob, it's great.
Great job.
Okay, important dates, like Thursday, October 10th, MV CTC, the end of the first quarter, October 11th, there's no school for MV CTC. Secondary, Tuesday, October 15th is our Board of Education regular meeting. That's today. We made it. Nice job, everybody. October 18th, end of the first grading period. Also, we got a 2-hour release. There's not on everybody's calendar, but we are released 2 hours early Friday. Monday starts the beginning of the second grading period. And I will send this out through @the as well, but we're not having classes on election day. We passed a resolution. I just put it back up there. I want people to know about it so they can make plans according. So I'll be here, and some of us will be working. I'll be here, and I know Todd will be here. And we'll be doing a few things, but it's not a required day. The kids are safety, but parent teacher conferences will be November 6th, 3:30 to 7. So, and then I also had mentioned earlier, October 31st is the Halloween for the township 6 to 8, and booth or treat, right? Will be October 26th from 2 to 4 at the elementary for all the kids. So good stuff. That's all I have.
Sorry.
Well, first, let me apologize. As you know, I've been out, so I haven't been able to get the monthly financial reports and everything done, but I'll get those done as soon as I possibly can. But I did want to get your approval on the addition of a new account. It says 3, but it's just 1. That's the Troy Foundation grant account. It's an 019-9166 for an elementary garden project. So we did receive $1,000, and I'm creating a new account for that. And then D is just procedurally, we should always pass something that says we want to participate in the federal and state grant program. So I just threw it in on this one for the 24-25 school year. So right now we have Title 1A, Title 2A, Title 3, and Title 4A, as well as IDEA-B and IDEA Early Childhood Special Education. So that one is really a pass-through because we send those funds over to the ESC because they have our preschool right at the moment. But so just need your approval on those two items and, hopefully I'll get everything finished this week, so.
Right, can I get a motion then to approve the consent agenda? But removing Alpha, Charlie and Echo. All motion.
Make a second.
Any discussion? You take roll, please.
Mrs. Leskowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Butler?
Yes.
Mrs. Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mrs. Kiplinger?
Yes.
Now we got the recommendation for classified.
Classified personnel, yeah, I'd like the, so, Bethel Elementary fifth grade special ed aide and ELSS step one. Recommendation to hire. This person is taking the place of Rayla, who we hired, who rescinded. So we found somebody to replace Rayla. So that's who that is. So it's a new person, but not a new position. If you remember, we hired Raylan. Got a contract adjustment. Ashley Holtgren, bus driver, going 4 hours to 6 hours. We got 3 unpaid leaves. Got 1 bus driver for 1 day. We got Tiffany Haley, Pastor May, 1.5 days. Alyssa Morgan Matthews, another 8.25 days. Rescind the contract of Melanie House. This was replacement, board approved her on 8/29, and she's no longer here. That's
Can I get a motion
classroom.
to approve the consent agenda for classified person? I'll second. Any discussion? You take roll, please.
Mrs. Leskowitz?
Oh, do you have something?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you a question because I didn't get to ask last time. The 4 hours to 6 hours per day, what other, do you happen to know what other duties she'll have during that time, or did she pick up an extra route of some kind? I don't know if you know the details.
I don't know the details, Digger just said she was needed to cover routes.
Okay.
So I mean, sometimes they switch them on and off. I don't know which buses they all go to.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. And then, has SEPTA been here before for us as a, special ed aid? It didn't,
I don't think so.
okay.
I know we've had a SEBDA, but I don't think it's just person. Yeah.
Thank you. That's okay. Okay. I didn't think it probably was, but just wanted to check because
I'll have to check with Miss Hatter. She would know better than I do as far as payroll. I can't recall, but I know SEBDA is a common name, so I'll have to check.
yes. Thank you. I think that was all I had. I just wanted to check on those things. Yeah. Thank you.
Any more discussion? You take roll, please.
Mrs. Leskowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Butler?
Yes.
Mrs. Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. B?
Yes.
Mrs. Kiplinger? Yes.
Okay, I like the recommendation certified personnel. I like the board to Ashley Liu, leave without pay. He's a middle school ELL teacher from February 10th, 2025 to May 20th, 2025. Leave of absence, going on maternity. And Carrie Jones, elementary school principal, 1 doc day. She decided to get married during school. 2 bad ideas. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Gary. Substitutes, I'd like to recommend that we employ Sarah Huppard, who is a substitute teacher effective immediately. She was subbing in the elementary, actually from Mindy's class, but now she's can sub in other classes,
Very good.
which we need. And the ESC substitute teacher list, which was the same as last week.
Can I get a motion then to approve the consent agenda for certified personnel?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I did want to check one thing. I thought in her letter it said she'd be back on May 26th. So I thought the gap of the 6 days was a little long. I understand it could be over a weekend, like a Friday and then a Monday or whatever, or even over the Labor Day holiday, but, not Labor Day, I'm sorry, Memorial Day holiday. So I just wanted to make sure that that was correct, unless I read.
Yeah, here's a letter. It says that, the letter says, February 20th, 2025 would return to school the following week, getting May 26th, so. We're out of school. We're out like, yeah,
Yeah. So is May 20th the last day of school then?
it's last day,
Oh, I mean, that we're in,
I believe so, yeah, teacher day,
oh, teacher day.
teacher day.
Okay.
There's stretch pay, so that's part of the sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're gone, we're out early this year. Yeah, we're out
Yeah.
early.
I knew we were getting close to the end. I didn't go back and look up when we were out.
Yeah, we'd worked that
That's
out.
next year.
I'd worked that out.
Okay.
With her and. Yeah, she sent a letter, it was like so many days unpaid. And so many days for leave.
Thanks. I just wanted to make sure we were approving of the right.
We are, it just didn't make sense to come back like one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then send you back home.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, so we just let go. Oh, yeah.
Just,
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any more discussion?
Mrs. Leskowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Butler?
yes.
Mrs. Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. V?
Yes.
Mrs. Kiplinger?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like the board to approve the payment in lieu for transportation. We've talked about this. Now that each time we have one, we just have to put it on the position. So this is a student we deemed to be not practical transport. So do payment in lieu. The overnight extended student trip, that is a DC trip. I showed the itinerary last week, but it just, it needs to be approved by the board, so it's a school sponsored trip, so everybody's covered. See musician and accompanist for the compensation. These kids go places, if there's musicians or somebody they need with them during auditions. And it's been the same rate for the last 3 years. And then the use of the medications, we talked about the first reading. We just, right now, in final form, and I explained this last week, we do parent permission, we'll do Motrin or ibuprofen and things like that, but our policy says we need doctors. So we just got to switch it to what we did. So. And then it's the same as it was last week. We discussed and then we'll approve it and put it in production. Current policy.
Can I get a motion then to approve the consent agenda for different items? On the. Second, any discussion?
So I just had a comment, for the musicians with sort of my fact, I would hope that we could find some students that would help out for musicals. As much as possible so that we have more student participation than we do paid participation.
That would be good for everybody.
It really would be, and it used to be that way, so I hope that
I think they tried as sort of a safety net in case they can't. I don't know off the top of my head how involved everybody is.
And I do know they do get a lot of kids, like, the middle school music right now has a lot of the high school kids doing the crew stuff, like the makeup and setting up the stage and that kind of stuff, so they do get people to do that kind of stuff. They get them involved.
we used to have the whole pit was banned, so.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Any more discussion?
And I was just gonna say, just on that note, as I've stated in the past, not everybody is being compensated for all the work that they do for the musicals. And I know a lot of this is musical related, not all of it, I get it, but there's a lot of people adults who are spending equally as much time and they're not being compensated for costumes and things like that. And so that's why this has always been a little sore spot with me as well.
I guess,
Just for your
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Just for your knowledge.
good to know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few things that I think we had discussion about, like some of the participation in the band and things like. No, I agree. I mean, I know they work hard. I know there's a lot going on. They're busy. There's a lot of people you don't see. that are doing a lot of it. So,
Thank you.
duly noted. Yeah. Thanks.
Any other discussion? Can we take a vote, please?
Mrs. Leskowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Butler?
Yes.
Mrs. Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. B?
Yes.
Mrs. Kiplinger?
Yes.
Right. BEA update.
You only had to wait 45 minutes.
I know, it's, wait a minute, I
That's
still
pretty
got
good.
my, I'm
We can
just
slow
waiting
it
another
down.
half hour.
Oh, we can do that.
No, really, I'm ready to go. Thank you.
That makes
On
more
record
sense.
Make me more comfortable. Please keep shocking me.
Yeah, please.
Well, first of all, we want to thank Scott, our SRO and admin for the good work they did today. We appreciate Mr. Nutter keeping us informed, and updated throughout. It really helped eliminate a lot of the, I don't know, what was it, rumor train and that scuttlebutt, and it really helped keep us informed so that we could better serve and do what we need to do. Which is nice and refreshing. Congratulations to Beth, the Bethel Education Support Team, our classified staff. They've been voted in by BEA and themselves to become part of OEA, sharing the umbrella that we have. We'll be separate entities, but just under one constitution bylaws. So congratulations to them. Also, into the quarters here, it's hard to believe. Teachers are busy wrapping up grades for the quarter, given the diagnostic assessments, pre-assessments, post-assessments. Any type of assessment you can think of has been given to gather that data that we need to help drive our instruction, and interventions to help our students move forward. A lot of that gives that information we gain from these, really helps break it down so we can meet the needs of students where they're at and to help move them forward. And also, last but not least, we love hearing that Mr. Nutter wants to give us 2 to 3 years. I'm gonna tell you, whenever I visit buildings, even walking through the halls, people are like, hey, do you think he'll stay a couple more years? Because it's refreshing to see somebody visible, that's listening, that's caring, and looks at all levels, but yes, is very open and transparent. And only wants the best for the district and moving forward, and the knowledge and wealth that he has to help us do that where we're at is really important. And when your staff is noticing that and the change and we're seeing, then we really would encourage you to please consider his offer and to jump on it, please. But that wraps up our report. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank you. Facilities Committee?
So yeah, last week, Mr. Nutter invited in, a company to talk about their portfolio and the things that they can do to help assess
Educational planners.
educational, yeah, things, yeah, sorry, assess, I didn't go. Assess and help plan for the campus moving forward as it grows. So thank you for inviting them in. It was good to listen to them. I know we had an option to have the facilities meeting at 6:30 tonight, but Tina and I talked at the regular meeting last week that I needed to tell her, and we didn't have that chance to follow up. So there's still kind of some gathering of information going on, but we will definitely try to pick them up and maybe for November. we
Yeah,
can
no
have
worries.
a
I had
better
asked too.
plan
I
in
mean,
place.
I just want to give you the time for me.
So stay tuned. We'll
Okay.
make sure that there's a notice that goes out that identifies when we'll start that back.
Liaison reports, we can start with the OSBA legislative liaison.
So there's really not a whole lot going on right now. Everybody's out of session until after the election in November, so we've got the OSBA conference coming up. Excited to go to that and get more information and network, so I really don't have anything.
CTC,
I did want to report, that there are 89 total students in teenage. I can hand this to you.
Oh, great, thank you. I'll take all the help I can get.
89 total students, Bethel students at CTC this year, 37 seniors and 52 juniors. And they had quite a bit going on this month. They did identify the September students of the month, and they'll be doing that as they move forward. And it looked like they picked the first group of 4 for the different programs that they have. So we'll stay tuned and see. I'll be happy to be able to report Bethel students that come up as we move into the future there. They also had some exciting things coming up. There's an annual business ownership merchandise sale, the old swag sale, just in case anybody's listening or wants to get any CTC items, goes through the 20th, and you can get it on their website, on the CTC website, and the funds are being donated to the Educational Foundation. So that helps provide scholarships and other essential resources to the students. The other exciting thing is, after a 2-year pause, the cosmetology salon is reopening. And so that is open to the public. They have walk-ins, so you can make an appointment. You can log on and get the phone number. Senior Citizen Day is Wednesday for those over 60. And they also, as a token of gratitude for their service, veterans receive complimentary haircuts. So that's a nice feature. And the students are doing the cuts and color, and they do nails as well. So they have a different price list on there if you want to look into that, but they're under the supervision of their instructors. It's just for a couple hours on Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays, but that's nice. And then to go along with that, if you want, if you time it all well, you can stop by and pick up lunch. They have a new opening. It's called 6800 Bistro, and it's the culinary arts students that are creating meals and provide lunch a couple days a week. And you can call ahead. It's for you can place orders online from 7:30 to 12:45, and then you can pick the items up between 11 and 1. So it's kind of nice that you can do that. You can kind of coordinate that and check out the school. So that's kind of an interesting couple of facts and the menu's online as well. So you can see it all there if you go to the Miami Valley CTC. And then the last thing is their parent teacher conferences are Thursday night, November 7th from 3 to 7. And they recommend that it's first come, first serve, and you need to try to have all your conferences scheduled by October 24th. So that's the report for this month. Thank you.
all right, and student activities.
Activities. Okay, highlights from the choir and theater department. 6 students attended the Wright State Choral Festival and performed with Wright State University choirs, as well as renowned choral director and composer Stacy Gibbs. So sorry, I'm not musical, but I think that's a big thing. So I'm glad our students were able to take part in that. Auditions for the winter play were held, and practice has commenced. They will be performing It's a Wonderful Life, a live radio play on December 13th through 14th. So we have that look forward to. Maybe our audio visual group can get involved. And so I'm pretty excited about that. Choir Palooza was held this Sunday. That's what I call. I don't know if they called it that. Where all the choirs where all the choirs performed. It was fantastic, and all the participants should be proud of the performance they had. So thank you once again to our musical department. And athletics. Well, boys and girls soccer are TRC champions. That's really exciting. And all conference selections will be this Sunday. And we expect quite a few students to make those all-conference teams since both our teams were champion. The first Three Rivers Conference cross-country meet at Bethel was held this past Saturday, and it was a huge success, beautiful weather. And let's see, it says the boys team finished TRC runner-up. They had first team boys, first team Justin Brinson, Kate Schweikert, Patrick Furstenberger made the conference first team, and Michael Trussell made the second team. And the girls first team girls were Olivia Brumbaugh, who was second overall and had a new school record. So I know she was quite the runner up. I know Alessandra Pirano and Natalie Sonnenstein all made the first team. So that is, man, when you just run for a sport, that's something. All I'm saying is that's just what they're doing. So hats off to you and congratulations for a great job. I just clicked out, hold on, I got more. Junior high boys football is undefeated, and they're playing undefeated Miami East tonight for the conference title. Do we know?
It was 16-0 when I went by.
Oh.
Ooh,
Yeah.
well, they
Well, that doesn't mean I didn't.
yeah, that was early.
It's still early.
It's early.
We finished the season undefeated, so we're wearing that proudly. 8th grade volleyball were regular season champions and the tournament runners up. They had quite the season. High school volleyball had Claire Bailey selected first team all conference. Congratulations, Claire, that's a big honor. Golf had a great year. We had Mr. Quinzel here talking about the boys, and Willie Mahelsick and Josh Fiery were selected first team all conference, and the girls were the conference runner up. The boys were undefeated TRC champion, and as we know, Mr. Quinzel was coach of the year. The senior recognition for football, cheerleading, marching band, boys and girls golf, and boys and girls cross country will be October 25th at the football games. So look for that information coming out on how that program will roll out. And it's tournament time. We have soccer, volleyball, cross country, all in tournaments this week. And if you're going to participate in winter sports, you have to register on final forms ASAP. We're also looking for wrestling, bowling, and swim coaches. So if you're interested, get in touch with the athletic office for more information. And that's what we've got going on right now.
It's fantastic.
Or had going on, or will be going on.
And you'll send me what you I lost track.
No, I'm gonna forward that to you right now.
Yeah, I talked to Dan, I think there's a couple of coaches that we got, that just,
Oh, good,
it was, be on the next agenda.
perfect.
All right, board meeting dates, discussion about the November 12th, that'd be a work session, yes, work session. And then a little discussion about the organizational meeting we just have to have before the, no later than the 15th of January. Sometime between the 1st and 15th. So does anybody have any input on the work session? Had a chance to look at the agenda on the capital conference? To see how.
I know, I'm under Jack real quick, if you don't mind. I know we talked with the last meeting. There's still classes going on. Like we would never make it back in time. I mean, some of your breakout sessions and whatnot. I don't know what you all are planning on attending, but you know, some of those may not be over 5:30. You know, some of them 6:30, so we could be back. There was some comments. I mean, we got another board meeting the following week. We could, I don't know, we could maybe move the work session, cancel the work session, but I know that if you're going to go to some of those, it would be a long day for you. I mean, it would be Monday, Tuesday. So it's a long one.
I mean, I think that we should just cancel it and just have a regular meeting the following week and I just. A little bit longer. It might not be so speedy.
But it might be.
Just one left.
But it might be.
I'll bring my two pictures of the list.
We'll keep you comfy.
I always sit here, that's why.
Does anybody else object to?
I'm fine.
Yeah, what she said.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'll third it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, Tina, if you had to have any of your reports done earlier, we could always call something special if you
Yeah.
needed us to. Cause I don't know your recording.
Yeah, I think our regular meeting's on the 19th, right? So as long as we have our regular meeting on the 19th, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because we have our 5-year that has to be approved in November and submitted.
Okay.
So as long as my grandbaby doesn't come.
Oh, no.
Yeah, just a reminder, he's due on the 23rd, but we'll have to wait and see.
23rd, that's it, and Thanksgiving later.
Yeah, it's the 28th,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah, you come back from break and it's December.
I know. Yeah.
That's
fun.
It's all fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine, everything's fine.
Keep spooling it through.
Everything's fine.
We can send out the cancellation then for
Yeah.
the work session.
Mhm.
and then-
We can do that.
Thank you.
We'll
And
get it
then,
on the website.
We'll handle it.
is there anything that we have to discuss right now about the work meeting or? think
No,
about-
just to
look
keep
forward
it
to?
out there for you to think about, so maybe in December, you have to set it in December, so.
Has to be.
And it has to be before January 15th, so. Yeah, just things to think.
And it could be in conjunction with, I don't have.
What we typically have done in the past here is we'll have the organizational meeting and then immediately following that, we'll have the January
The
board
regular,
meeting,
right?
yeah.
The way they've done it here before.
Yeah,
I just didn't know if the dates lined up for that.
yeah.
Okay.
So if we pick a date in January, then we can go ahead and schedule. If you want to keep the same schedule we have with the second and third Tuesday, or if you guys want,
Third Tuesday.
or just the third Tuesday, or.
Just say.
Just say it. It's fine. Let me know. Get all those dates approved and get that ready for the January 5th, for the organization. So,
Okay.
Oh,
That'll be it. And then, is there any more discussion, anybody, anything? Okay, and then doesn't look like we have any public participation, we do not have an executive session. We have adjournment of the meeting. So, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion. Oh, I'll second it.
Any discussions?
Andy has a lot to say.
Oh. Can I speak? People listen.
Well, before we, I just want to thank everybody for their support over the last couple of weeks. It's been a hard couple of weeks. But I do appreciate you guys understanding and giving me the time to spend with my father before he passed. So, yeah, so thank you, and for the flowers, and everything else, and for those of you that showed up, at the viewing, I appreciate that. So thank you.
Very well. Mainly important. We're sorry for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
for you. I'm sure.
Yeah.
That note,
Let's choose for
Yes. Yeah. Mrs. Leskowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Butler?
Yes.
Mrs. Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. B?
Yes.
Mrs. Kiplinger?
Yes.
Yep.
8:02.
When's the last time you had an hour board meeting?
You can. Want me to tell you what year? You still have to stay another hour. Oh, there we go. And everybody said it couldn't be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Nobody
thank
gave
you.
us grace, but
There
we're,
you
yeah.
Y'all have a good one.
Yeah. Congratulations, to Jessica, beautiful baby.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you all. Lord, don't.
Well, hopefully we are.